Tale of Tarhun, Part 4. The Other Side of the Story. Guildmembers. The world is ever moving. The gears of it turn ever onward. Time is constantly in motion. Druids meet and discuss signs of impending change seen within their tree leaves. Seedy underground criminal brackets deal with their dark work, and a particular group of guild members within the human nation of Rolston, coincidentally in the very same city that Tarhun and Carinae are stationed in, spent their evenings as they often did. Wallace, a human guildsman, particularly skilled with his fists, was at the nearest pub. "Hello, Mr. Gnome, a menu, please. I'm interested in what you serve here."
"Wallace, the menu still doesn't have pictures. Why do you ask for it every time you come here? I only keep giving it to you because you're a very reliable customer."
Balin, a tiefling guildsman, holy cleric of Palor, was practicing his faith at the nearest church after a long week of healing less than fortunate folk. "Palor provides to those that aren't fortunate as we. It is by stopping injustice and evil that we as people may grow and heal." Krusk, a half-orc guildsman, a veteran, who is still quite skilled with his tools of war, is lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, partially reminiscing and partially regretting. Above all, he is thinking, and trying to bring himself to sleep, to rest his mind, to rest his body. "It's mostly quiet here, but I can still hear so much. Is it more unrest, or is it just my mind wandering again?" Varys, a half-elf guildsman, who's quite cunning and very easy to lose in a crowd, was keeping an eye on some of the less reputable seeming guild members.
"Do you feel like we're being watched?" "Not really. Why? Did you see something? Are we being followed?" "No, just I feel uneasy is all. We should go to an inn to discuss this more."
Despite them all being in largely unrelated locations after work, and none of the guild's members making exactly the same craft, they all know one another moderately well. The work is fine, fulfilling to some, but it serves as nothing but a means to get pay for others. Then, in the middle of the night, in the room that Wallace is sleeping heavily in, something blows in through the window. It's not until the afternoon the very next day that he awakes and finds it. It's a note, in extremely nondescript handwriting. This note is signed, very sneakily, by an old business partner of Wallace's, a man with heavy ties to the criminal underworld that lurks in large cities. Xander is this man's name. Xander has intercepted a copy of an order signed by very important royal officials. As it turns out, this official is someone extremely meticulous, to the point that they sent out copies of notes out of this exact city. The extra note has not yet been noticed missing, but it soon may be. Wallace must come to the dead drop point to pick up the scroll that was taken. It's stuffed inside a false brick that's part of the dried-up fountain. You can't miss it. One more job, potentially worth more than any previous one Wallace has done. Xander can't pull strings this time to get Wallace a crew, so he'll have to provide his own. Unfortunately for Wallace, he spent most of his coinage from this week's work living at large last night and getting extremely drunk. His options aren't looking great in that regard. Almost absent-mindedly, and with a bit of a hangover, he stores this note from Xander in his right pocket. Varys has no ties to the criminal underworld that are as powerful as Xander, but Varys has extreme knowledge of the streets of this city, since he grew up on them. So, when he sees two paranoid individuals sneaking to a memorized dead drop to hide something at the dead of night, he notices the brick slightly turned out of place. All of the secret messages and graffiti left by other thieves helps too, of course. Almost as soon as the two men leave for the night, Varys is at the fountain, removing a brick and retrieving a scroll stored inside. "Gotcha. Huh? A document. This looks More official than most of the scrolls that get stored in dead drops, and it's not a fake passport either. Wait, that's a royal seal. Who the hell was this left here for? Varys, curious but primarily intrigued by potential royal presence in the city he calls home, places the scroll back, as well as the hollow brick it sits within. He keeps watch on the fountain for several hours, from the relative safety of the shadows of a nearby tree.